her employers and fellow employees always commended her for her management skills. Whatever work she has done, she did very quickly and efficiently, both on the job and at home, including our family finances and household matters. After graduating from high school in Attica, Kansas, she attended Alva Teachers College in Oklahoma at the age of 16 for 1 semester, and then went 2 years to Central Bible Institute. She also took various classes at Kansas State University, including interior decorating and how to teach art and music to children. So she had a good education and was an intelligent person. Colleen was a good artist. She did oil paintings, china painting, and ceramics. One quality Colleen had, which endeared her to me as much or more than any other, was that she was a wonderful companion. We worked together, played together, ate together, slept together, and in general, shared everything together 24 hours a day, all those years. I've known them 67 years, and I can tell you that's so true. I've hardly seen the two of them apart, even though I live with them. Now I've lost it. We were able to discuss everything and anything and agreed about most things of importance. We had very few disagreements and were able to resolve them very quickly with forgiveness and renewed closeness. We both felt that no two individuals could have gotten along any better than the two of us. We have been each other's best friends and would rather be with each other than anyone else on the planet. Our daughter has always said we were joined at the hip. Our marriage has been one of genuine love for each other. We genuinely enjoyed sharing life together. My wife, Colleen, may not have been perfect, but she was as near perfection as is humanly possible. At least that is the way I think of her after all these years. I wrote the following poem to Colleen many years ago, and it pretty well expresses my feelings for her. You are my lover, companion, and friend. To this relationship, I hope there is no end. No doubt someday death will make us part. But I will always have you in my heart. Earnestly, Ernie. So, now that he's choked me up, I'll try to say a few words. Who gave me that shout out? Anyway, thank you all for coming. It's kind of amazing that after nearly 95 years, she's outlived most or many family members and friends. And thank you all for coming, especially those that came from so far away. So this is going to be hard too. The last time I read a tribute at a memorial was for my son. He was out of the country, he was 17, and his best friend got hit by a car and killed. And so that was tough. So that chokes me up. Today, we're really here to celebrate a wonderful, full, happy life. I spoke a few words. Some of you were at her 90th birthday celebration nearly 5 years ago. And at that time, I don't think anybody other than this man expected she would be at his 99th birthday party a couple months ago. And one of the things that I guess I said to her, he has in here, that her children always knew they were loved and cared for. So, what else did I say nearly 5 years ago? At that point, I'd recently read an article that had talked about as people age, they seem to become happier. And I commented that at that point, they were laughing more than I think I'd ever seen them. They were really having a nice time. And I will follow that with, when I was here 2 months ago for the 99th birthday celebration of my father. She was in failing health, you know, on hospice care, and my boys came, and we all commented on how she was funnier than she ever was. You know, my son Wyatt said, "She's cracking me up." So even to the end, she had her sense of humor. Well, let's see. I think that's it. I'm gonna cut it there and say, once again, thanks for coming, and I view this as a celebration, and thanks for sharing it.
Good afternoon. We are John and Doris Arnold. It's been our privilege to be friends with Ernie and Colleen for the past over 30 years, and we've shared wonderful times together. We first met Ernie and Colleen when they served as the seniors pastor at Wilmington First Assembly. Colleen was a very special lady, full of life and vitality. She was an amazing woman. She had a sharp mind. She was fun and funny, and a classy lady, and she was a joy to know. As we all know, she deeply loved and cherished Ernie, and Ernie deeply loved and cherished her in return. They were an inseparable couple, for sure. When I first met Colleen at church, I noticed that at every service she would glance over the congregation, and I wondered why she was doing that. Well, it became apparent that she was checking on the seniors to make sure they were all there, and she was concerned if somebody was missing, that she could find out what was wrong and make sure they were going to be okay. So she had a real love for the seniors in the church there in Wilmington First Assembly, and she was rather like a mother hen looking after her chicks. Colleen cared about the people in her care. Her sensitivity and love for others were shown in many ways. She was great at organizing, as we've heard already. She was wonderful at organizing, and she organized trips for the seniors in the church, including, many have already been mentioned, but it included trips and events, even a cruise or two while we were there together. A trip to Branson for the seniors. Now that was quite an accomplishment to take a group of seniors to Branson. Ernie, I've got to hand it to you. Colleen and Ernie retired from Wilmington First Assembly and moved here to this community many years before our own retirement from the church. But when we retired, we received a call from Colleen. To give you an idea of how sensitive she was to other people, we received a call from Colleen inviting us to come down and go to church with them and go to lunch afterwards. She was very aware that our first Sunday away from a church family was going to be difficult and leave an opening, a space in our hearts, and she was aware of that, and they invited us down. We had a wonderful day together. Well, after that, that day had been so successful, we started regularly going out to lunch and having really good times together. We would often meet for lunch, and then afterwards Colleen would say, "Can you come by the house and play Rummy Cube?" Colleen and I shared a common love of board games, and we both were very we wanted to win, but Colleen was very competitive. In spite of her competitiveness, it still did not affect our friendship. We just continued to have good times together, laughing and talking and sharing our experiences with our families and what was going on, and keeping score, of course. And we had lots of laughter and good times together. And we almost always ended with Haagen-Dazs ice cream bars. Colleen kept a stash in the freezer, and we enjoyed those so much. I already miss Colleen. She was a very special and dear friend, and I loved her. Ernie, we love you, and our prayers and hearts are with you. John?
Colleen was a great blessing to many people. When Ernie texted us that Colleen had passed, we were on a cruise ship coming from Vancouver to Los Angeles. 3 mornings later, at 5:30, while it was still dark, we arrived in the port of San Pedro. As I looked out at the city lights going up the hill, I thought of Colleen, and tears came to my eyes. I thought of what a great blessing she had been to so many hundreds of people when she and Ernie pastored in San Pedro and later pastored with us in Wilmington. She encouraged, comforted, inspired, gave hope and faith in Christ. Then I thought of all the other places she had done the same: Alabama, Kansas, Thousand Oaks. In a very long and consequential life, Colleen had blessed thousands of people. Colleen was also a great friend. Doris has mentioned some of her kindness to us. She always asked how we and our family were doing. Were we okay? Were our kids okay? There was always a card at special occasions. We always left our times together with a very warm feeling of love in our hearts that these were real friends. And last, Colleen was great fun. She had an infectious vitality about her. Her vitality inspired and at times challenged. She loved games, as Doris said. At their little table there where we played games in their house, she always sat to my left, which meant when we were playing Rummy Cube, I played before her. And as I stand here now, I can hear her voice saying, as she said a number of times, "John, you messed me up again." I was ready to go out. One day, we were playing games at that table, and I was moaning and groaning because my dentist had told me my 2 top front teeth had to be ground down and replaced with crowns. And you know, after 80 some years, you get attached to your 2 top front teeth. And no matter what terrible shape they were in, I wasn't looking forward to having them taken out. Well, she sat there and listened to my moaning and groaning. And finally, she had all she could take. She leaned across the table and said, "John, get a grip. Suck it up." And the next day in the dentist chair, the dentist was grinding away. And I heard those words in my head: "Get a grip, suck it up." And you know what? I may hear those words again sometime when I need some of Colleen's courage. Colleen was a great blessing, a great friend, and great fun.
These are so sweet to hear all these stories about my grandmother. My name is Bryn. I was Colleen's granddaughter. Thank you all so much for being here. It really means the world to us. Well, as we have reminisced about my grandmother over the last few weeks and days, a lot has been said about her many collections. And if you ever came to my grandparents' house, you probably saw some of them. Tea sets and china and clocks and jewelry. all the beautiful things that she cultivated throughout the years, and she would pull them out to show and share with all the people that she loved. I think I always kind of thought of my grandparents' home as a treasure chest full of personal treasures, things that Grandma would pull out, kind of like interactive art exhibits whenever we visited. Grandma always wanted to show me all the beautiful things that she had made or found or sought out, so that I could be as wonder-filled by them as she was. And I always was. As Grandma got older, I noticed our conversations would shift as she would take me around her home to show me her collections and all the new things that she had found to put in her collections. When I was a little girl, she would pull things out to show me, and then she would carefully tuck them away again. Or after she had let me touch and handle them, she would carefully preserve them behind glass so that they would be safe for next time. But as we both got older, I noticed the conversation started to shift. The conversation stopped being so much about what she had collected or what she had preserved, and she started asking me during every visit instead what she could give away, what I wanted to keep. What beautiful things could she share with me? Sometimes I would tell her something that she had that I loved, that I always wanted, and she would just hand it to me on the spot so that I could take it home that day. Sometimes I would say, no, Grandma, you'll enjoy it, but she would insist I should take it home. Sometimes she would just write it down on a list for someday. But always as she got closer to the end of her life, as she started tuning her attention towards eternity, she started asking me what she could leave me behind. It's a normal question for someone to ask as they're thinking about the end of their life. What things do I have that I can give to the people that I love to remember me by? What things do I have that hold value to you? Lots of people ask these questions at the end of their lives, but I think behind that question about belongings is usually another question about belonging. What about me has value to you? What about my life do my friends and family hope to inherit? What aspects of who I am will live on in the people that I love? There are so many things about my grandmother's life that I've already inherited. Her love of tea parties, a shared vocation in church planting, and as has already been mentioned, a deep need to win at Rummikub, even if it means cheating a little. And John, I heard that same thing. And if you've ever played a game with my grandmother, you know what we're talking about. But more than anything else, what I've already inherited from Grandma isn't a love of beautiful things, but the thing behind that thing. It's a love of beauty itself. Most of my favorite memories of Grandma involved beauty hunting. Some of my earliest memories are sitting on my living room floor as a kid, as she and Papa regaled us with stories of their travels from all over the world. They would return from abroad with the most amazing treasures, things that they had picked out and hunted for, beautiful things to bring home to keep or to give away. And those moments were never about the souvenirs themselves. They were about the lessons and the memories behind them. The gifts or new collection pieces were really just object lessons about beauty. Grandma's love for fine craftsmanship, her appreciation for the artistry of the past, her joy in learning new cultures. It shaped the way that she moved throughout her life, always on the lookout for something special to share with those that she loved. But Grandma taught me more than just to seek out beauty on special occasions or during holidays or on vacations or trips abroad. More than anything, Grandma taught me to seek out beauty in the ordinary too. Every time we visited when I was a little girl, Grandma would walk me through her rose garden. She'd tell me about each individual rose that she had been growing, its colors, its care, its story of its little life. She knew all the roses in her garden intimately, kind of like they were dear friends. And then at the end of each visit, this was my favorite part, she'd invite me to go outside and pick out my favorite rose of the day. And even if it was also her favorite, she would clip it and she'd wrap it up in foil and water, and she'd send it home with me to enjoy long after the visit. I love those roses. Once I spent the weekend with her so that she could teach me how to oil paint. Our first errand that weekend was to the art supply store where we picked up all of our supplies for the painting lesson. But the second stop was a beauty lesson. After we had our paints and our brushes and our canvases all ready waiting for us in the car, she took me to a park that was surrounded by trees and flowers and tall grass. And before we did any painting that weekend, before she taught me about how to mix colors or how to fill things in or shade or shadow, she taught me how to see, how to find beauty, and to fine-tune my attention to it. That day we walked through the park, slowly and quietly. And as we did, Grandma told me to notice the color of the trees. She told me to notice how many colors were actually growing on the trees, how many different shades of green and brown. She had me look for light and for shadows all around the park and to point those things out to her. I'm not even sure if Grandma fully knew what she was doing for me, but a lot more was happening in that visit than just an oil painting lesson. Grandma was teaching me a life skill, a way of being actually, her way of being. Grandma was helping me to seek out and notice the beauty in my ordinary life, to see colors and light and stories that we might otherwise miss if we haven't cultivated that kind of attention. It was as if she knew that there was always some treasure waiting to be found around every corner, if only we had the eyes to see it. Grandma taught me how to see it. She taught me how to notice the extraordinary in the ordinary, to see the artistry in creation itself. Because of Grandma, I have learned to see the world as full of beauty and hidden treasures everywhere. And as she cultivated that attention toward beauty in me, she showed me that beauty isn't just something you find and keep. It's something that multiplies when you share it or give it away. There's a passage from the book of Ecclesiastes that often gets quoted at memorial services. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. I love that passage, but I think that a few verses down is a little more appropriate for my grandmother. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart. Grandma, I love the beautiful things you've given me over the years, and the beautiful things that I know have been set aside for me. But more than any other inheritance, you've given me a fine-tuned attention towards eternity. The gift that comes with the beauty, grace, love, and wonder with which you lived your life. You taught me to keep my eyes open for the eternity in the everyday, and to always seek out the good, the beautiful, and the true. You've given me a gift that goes beyond just an appreciation of nice things or the colors of trees. You've given me a love of beauty, and that gift points me toward the awe and wonder of eternity in the big life moments and in the everyday. Thank you, Grandma, for helping fine-tune my attention toward the things that matter, and for showing us all the beauty of a life well lived. God made you beautiful in your time and set eternity in your heart. Thank you for helping God set eternity in my heart too.